Yellowstone National Park is home to more than just bison, bears, and geysers. It also houses the Yellowstone Supervolcano, which, if it were to erupt tomorrow, would be an absolute game-changer. The destruction caused by this eruption would be so catastrophic that some believe it could even spell the end of the human race. But what would actually happen if the most dangerous volcano on Earth erupted tomorrow? How would life on our planet be changed forever? Well, here's what we think would happen. The first thing that would happen is that the world would literally be thrown into chaos. It wouldn't take long for the US government to declare a state of emergency in the entire country as they struggle to comprehend the gravity of the situation. But it would be a hard truth to swallow. Scientists have estimated that the force of the blast from the Yellowstone supervolcano would be hundreds of times greater than the bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki during World War II. In fact, it would be so powerful that the explosion would shake the ground beneath our feet all around the globe. People would feel the tremors of the eruption as far away as Australia, and it would be impossible to hide from the incoming disaster, no matter where you are in the world. And there is something called the Volcanic Explosivity Index, or the VE, which predicts how destructive a volcanic eruption will be based on several factors, including the height of the ash cloud and the volume of material ejected during the eruption. The higher the number, the more explosive the eruption. For example, Mount Steady Helens, which erupted in 1980, had a VE of 5. El Pilar de Tamboco in 1991 had a VE of 6. And scientists believe that the eruption of the Yellowstone supervolcano would have a VE of 8. To put that into perspective, only 2 other eruptions in history have ever reached a VE of 7 or higher. The Nova Erupta in Alaska in 1912, and the Krakatoa in Indonesia in 1883. The Nova Erupta was one of the most violent eruptions in the 20th century, ejecting over 3.6 cubic miles of material during the blast. The Krakatoa eruption, meanwhile, not only led to the deaths of tens of thousands of people, but also triggered a tsunami that killed many more. In the immediate aftermath of the explosion, millions of people living within 200 miles of the volcano would be killed instantly by pyroclastic flows and falling debris. Meanwhile, the vast ash cloud would blot out the sun, plunging the entire northern hemisphere into darkness. What's worse, the ash would not only block out the sunlight, but it would also trap heat in the lower atmosphere, leading to global warming. This could potentially lead to the melting of the polar ice caps and rising sea levels, which could submerge entire cities. But that's not all. The eruption would also cause massive earthquakes, further destabilizing the planet and possibly triggering more volcanoes to go off around the world. Even those who survived the initial blast would face a whole host of new challenges. Food and water supplies would be contaminated by ash and toxic gases, leading to widespread famine and disease. And with the global supply chain disrupted, there would be no way to restock these supplies. In short, the eruption of the Yellowstone supervolcano would be a catastrophe of biblical proportions. So when might this doomsday scenario actually happen? The good news is that scientists don't believe that there is any immediate danger of an eruption. The magma chamber beneath Yellowstone is constantly being monitored for signs of increased activity. And although there have been some minor earthquakes in the area in recent years, there is no evidence that they are related to volcanic activity. In fact, the last time Yellowstone erupted was 640,000 years ago. And although scientists can't say for sure when it will erupt again, they don't believe that it will be anytime soon. However, there is another supervolcano that may be due for an eruption sooner rather than later. Mount Vesuvius, which lies just outside of Naples, Italy, is one of the most dangerous volcanoes in the world, and it's also one of the most active. Mount Vesuvius has erupted more than 50 times in history, with the most famous eruption occurring in 79 AD, when it buried the Roman city of Pompeii in ash and pumice. And although the eruption of Vesuvius wouldn't be as catastrophic as that of Yellowstone, it would still be devastating. The nearby city of Naples is home to more than 4 million people, and if Vesuvius were to erupt today, it's likely that many of them would be killed or injured. In addition to the loss of life, the eruption would also cause billions of dollars in property damage. And with Mount Vesuvius located just 12 miles from the capital of Rome, it's possible that the entire country of Italy could be plunged into chaos. That's why scientists are working hard to monitor Vesuvius and develop a plan to evacuate Naples in the event of an eruption. They're also working on new technology that could potentially help to mitigate the damage caused by the blast. But despite these efforts, the eruption of Vesuvius is still considered to be one of the most dangerous natural disasters that could happen in the near future. It may seem like a far-fetched scenario, but it's important to remember that volcanoes are one of the most powerful forces on Earth, and they have the potential to cause widespread destruction in a matter of minutes. Speaking of things exploding, let's talk about another explosive topic, your subscription. Now, I know that there are literally thousands of videos on YouTube that you could be watching right now. So the fact that you're taking the time to watch this one means a lot to me, and I really appreciate it. Now, let's get back to the rest of the video. Mount Pinatubo, located on the island of Luzon in the Philippines, had been relatively quiet for several hundred years before suddenly erupting in 1991. This eruption was one of the most violent of the 20th century, killing more than 800 people and causing billions of dollars in damage. One of the most significant impacts of Mount Pinatubo's eruption was the ash cloud that it created. Ash fell over a large area of the Philippines, covering towns and villages in thick layers. This ash contained harmful chemicals and particles that contaminated water sources and caused respiratory problems for many people. The eruption also released sulfur dioxide gas, which formed a layer in the stratosphere that reflected sunlight and led to global cooling. In the years since the eruption, scientists have continued to study Mount Pinatubo to better understand its behavior and predict future eruptions. They've learned that the volcano is part of a larger volcanic complex that has been active for centuries, and they're now able to monitor the volcano more closely to detect any signs of unrest. While Mount Pinatubo remains a dangerous volcano, scientists are more prepared than ever to respond to future eruptions and protect the lives and safety of those living nearby. So now, you're probably wondering, what about Mount St. Helens? Erupting in 1980, Mount St. Helens in Washington state was one of the deadliest natural disasters in U.S. history. The eruption claimed 57 lives and caused extensive damage to the surrounding area. In the aftermath of the eruption, scientists worked tirelessly to understand the disaster and develop ways to prevent similar tragedies in the future. They discovered that the landslide that preceded the eruption was the largest in recorded history, releasing more than 30 billion cubic feet of material. This landslide triggered a pyroclastic flow that raced down the mountain at 175 miles per hour, destroying everything in its path. Scientists also found that the eruption column, which rose more than 12 miles into the air, was the tallest ever recorded in the United States. The eruption threw an estimated 5.6 billion cubic feet of material into the air, much of which fell as ash over a large part of the Pacific Northwest. Despite the devastation caused by the eruption, Mount St. Helens has since become a popular tourist destination. Visitors come from all over the world to see the stunning landscape that was created in the aftermath of the disaster. The eruption of Mount St. Helens serves as a reminder of the awesome power of nature and the importance of understanding and respecting the natural world. Through ongoing research and monitoring, scientists continue to learn more about this remarkable volcano and its impact on the surrounding environment. But what about the biggest volcano in the world? Mauna Loa, located in Hawaii, is the largest active volcano in the world. However, despite its massive size, it's not considered to be one of the most dangerous volcanoes in the world. This is because it's not located near any major population centers, and its eruptions are typically slow-moving lava flows that don't pose a threat to human life. In fact, the last eruption of Mauna Loa began and ended within a span of 22 hours. Although Mauna Loa is not considered to be a dangerous volcano, it's still an impressive geological feature. Its name means long mountain in Hawaiian, and it's the largest of 5 volcanoes that make up the Big Island of Hawaii. The volcano is 13,000 feet tall, and its summit is the highest point in Hawaii. Mauna Loa is also the world's largest shield volcano, which means that it has a broad, gently sloping profile. Shield volcanoes are typically formed by the accumulation of fluid lava flows, and Mauna Loa has been building up for hundreds of thousands of years. While Mauna Loa may not be the most dangerous volcano in the world, it's certainly one of the most fascinating. Its massive size and unique shape make it a must-see destination for anyone interested in geology or simply the natural world. So when it comes to the question of which volcano is the most dangerous on Earth, there is no single answer. Each volcano is unique and poses its own set of challenges and risks. From the unpredictable nature of Mount Vesuvius to the massive size of Mauna Loa, these volcanoes serve as a reminder of the incredible power of nature and the importance of understanding and respecting the world around us.